All right, folks, here's the thing. If you go into a bank wearing this and you ask them to withdraw $16,000 in cash with your wife's debit card, expect to sit there for 30 minutes while they interrogate you. But then you finally walk away with it. I've actually never withdrawn this much cash before, and it's weird because I've never done that before. Oh, it's real hot today. What's up, everybody? It's me, Kevin, here. It is 72 degrees out here in sunny Southern California, and I'm sweating. Wow, this is miserable. I'm serious. Maybe I just shouldn't be wearing this, but I do have my Deadpool tie bar on today, so I'm excited to show you the Deadpool tie bar, as well as talk about why you should not own real estate. And look, a lot of you, I just want to get the bias out of the way here, okay? In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why you should not own real estate in the most realistic and unbiased ways possible. But I say that because, just so you know, I have built my wealth investing in real estate, investing in stocks, and being a real estate broker. But I have exactly seen the type of people who should not buy real estate. There we go. So in a twisted way, think of me as shooting myself in the foot and telling you the secrets and the real reasons as to why you should not buy real estate. Because I've seen too many people get screwed doing these things, and I don't want you to get screwed. Mostly because I want you to keep coming back to this channel and hitting that like button and signing up for life insurance and 2 free stocks with Webull. But beyond that, let's get started with at least 6 reasons why you should not buy real estate. Let's get started with number 1. Oh, but it's too hot! So reason number 1 you do not want to invest in real estate is if you're trying to time the market. If you're thinking of speculating, real estate, in my opinion, is not the best play. Real estate can move dramatically fast with a simple change in interest rates, even though it seems like real estate can move a lot slower. Usually what ends up happening, right when you try to time the market and you want to sell, rates bump up and boom, you lose your pants. It just happens over and over again to people. It happened to people in the 89 recession. It happened to people in the 08 recession. It happened to people in the drop in 2018, which, unless you were really part of the real estate market, you didn't even know there was a drop in 2018. It's all of these things where you're thinking about selling in the short term to try to lock in a profit or maximize, that oftentimes if you're going in with the intention of timing that, you could get slapped in real estate pretty quickly. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get slapped pretty quickly in stocks too. But real estate is one of those that usually you could really think about buying something and holding it for 30, 40 plus years. You don't really have that benefit in stocks because companies do change. Think about Kodak. Kodak is gone, Sears is gone, JCPenney is going away. A lot of these companies, 20 years ago, none of us would have ever thought they'd be going away, and now they're going away. Real estate, as long as the location doesn't decline, population doesn't decline dramatically, and the poverty rate doesn't skyrocket, generally you're okay holding real estate longer term. But if you're thinking about short-term speculation, real estate can be very risky unless you specifically know your market and you know what you're doing. The second reason, well, let's get out of the wind. All right, the second reason you should not buy real estate is if you're going to be likely to over-improve the house that you buy. See, the problem is, a lot of what happens with us, and it happens to me too, so trust me, I know it. It's kind of speaking from my own experience. It's speaking from clients' experience. What happens is when you buy, you get motivated to make it yours. And making real estate yours is expensive. It's one thing if you're going to go through and you're able to walk around going, you know what, guys, it's a rental. It's a rental. Or what I teach, for example, in my investing courses, if you're going to buy, fine, but go into the deal remodeling it as if it's going to be a rental. So that means maybe you don't put in the most expensive products. You know, maybe you put in the $400 range, whether it's gas or electric, depending on what it has. Maybe you use the $250 microwave, and you're not putting in the Miele dishwasher, right? You're putting in cost-effective things that aren't cutting corners. You're putting things that are cost-effective and that are going to make you money long run. The problem is when you move in and you associate something with your identity. It's like, oh, guys, come on. This is my house. I gotta have the highest quality possible. You think I'm gonna cut corners on my house? I'm not cutting corners on my house. That mentality gets people screwed. Let me show you something. Okay, over here in this bathroom, remember, this is a rental. Over here in this bathroom, you're going to see, I was quoted somewhere around $8,000 to do the plumbing and tiling for this tub. Would have been beautiful. I mean, we're talking about subway tile, the mosaic, the soapbox, like all the glitz and glam, right? Look at this. This, my friends, was $2,200. This is a fiberglass enclosure, which people are like, oh gosh, it's fiberglass, come on, that's cheap. Well, it's got 7 shelves. It's really functional. It's easy to install. I can put a shower curtain rod in here, and who cares? I'm not gonna get more rent with this being tile versus this and a beautiful shower curtain rod. And if anything, it wouldn't be a good return on my investment. However, if I now chose to live here, if I chose to live here, do I want to personally live with fiberglass? Well, let me first say, I personally do. Our master is fiberglass. Well, we have a fiberglass pan and a builder-grade tile surround. But, we would love to spend a ton of money, redoing our bathrooms. But we're like, come on. Why would we not rather invest? And the problem that happens in America is in America, we have a culture of associating ourselves with the things that we own. We associate ourselves with our cars, the clothes we wear, and we determine somebody's success by, how they appear, right? And so that leads us to want to be able to, hey guys, check out the $100,000 kitchen I just installed. Guys, this is Italian marble. This is Carrera. That stainless steel trim is from Bulltop. Oh, the plug and pull cabinets. Oh, the Italian, mamma mia. Look, I get it, and I say these things because my father installed high-end Bulltop kitchens. Let me put it this way, because when you hear install kitchen, it's like, all right. He installs kitchens, and he gets paid a check for $40,000 to $60,000 for installing a kitchen. That's when you know the kitchens are running for $400,000 to $600,000, because an installer gets paid it's 10%, right? So I have seen all of the spectra, as if that's even a word, the spectrum. I've seen all across the spectrum of people spending and people being thrifty. And then there's slumlord level, right? Slumlord level that says, you know what, I'm not even going to bother doing the quality safety upgrades, the GFCIs that are tamper and weather resistant, the bubble covers, right? There are people who are always going to cut corners. But as soon as you buy your own place and you turn it into yours, you're going to get ripped off. Contractors who do things with a lot of quality are going to charge you a premium. You're going to get destroyed with the designs you want, the material costs you want. The process is gonna suck. You're gonna hate it. You're never gonna do construction again. And this is why, if you're gonna get into real estate, you gotta stay away from trying to associate yourself with the property. And this is why, if you're a tenant now and you're thinking, you know what, I don't know, man, I'm just gonna wait until I'm 35. I'm gonna wait and it's gonna be my dream home. It's a mistake. That is a bad investment. That is the example of somebody saying a house is a liability, not an asset. Now, if I moved into this place, which is basically the same house that I originally moved into when I bought, and I moved into this place and I remodeled it rental grade while living here, and then as soon as I was done with the remodel, or a year or two later, I moved out and rented it out, that would be a worthwhile investment. So reason number 2, do not buy if you're going to associate it with your identity. Our house, I had to bring people over, and instead of bragging about how much I spent, I bragged about how little I spent. That's a whole different level of brag, because you're coming, initially you gotta come over this level of is he being frugal or is he being cheap? I get it, right? So let's talk about reason number 3. So reason number 3, and this is actually something that Lauren and I are experiencing right now. Reason number 3 not to buy a house is you wanting something bigger. So you want something to, just because you want it. It's not really going to be an investment, right? So let's take a look around here. Let's go see who's done a big addition or something to a house. And we'll lock this place up in a second. See, this house is beautiful. These people spent a lot of money, and this is their forever home, right? Beautiful house, gorgeous construction, addition, everything's upgraded, the roof, the dual pane windows. Great neighbor to have, honestly. Great people. Nice people too, love them. The flagpole, everything. But that's an example where, look, once you're 50, 60 and you want to settle down, you want to do that, fine, spend the money at that point. But does it make sense to take, a 1950s, 1960s property and spend all of that money when you're trying to build your wealth in your youth? If you're under 40 years old and you have less than a $2-3 million net worth, why are you going to spend all this money over improving real estate? Do that when you can enjoy it, not while you're at work grinding all the time. So be careful with the concept of buying big and then moving. And that's, again, like something Lauren and I are struggling with right now, because we're like, we really want to move to a bigger house, but the problem is if I move to a bigger house, I know I'm going to over improve it. So kind of mix those two things. And as weird as this is to say, as a real estate broker and real estate investor and somebody who teaches real estate investing, it would be better for me to lease a big house that is move-in ready than to buy it and then get tempted by that identity of, wow, that's going to be mine, and then overspend on it. So if I'm going to buy a big house that I know is never going to be an investment, it's never going to be a rental property, the temptation to overspend is going to be huge. And that is a big, big, big problem. Now, another thing that I do want to caution is, and this is reason number 4, a lot of people want to wait to buy real estate until they settle down. And that's very, very common. It's very normal. The thought is, hey, you know what? I'm going to wait until I have children or until I'm married. And I get that. Let's get out of the wind first, though. Hey, how you doing? Okay, number 4 is if you're going to wait to buy until you settle down, honestly, there's a chance you might be better off renting. Because again, and a lot of these relate to each other, but a lot of people, a lot of clients of mine, they've come to me and they go, Kevin, we want to buy a house in this neighborhood. This is our dream neighborhood. And they literally every year, they drop $100,000. This year we're doing the kitchen, then we're doing the backyard, then we're doing the master bath, then we're going to do an addition. And all of a sudden, like every year, they literally blow all of the money they should be investing on improvements on the house. And then guess what happens? 7 years later, they split up or they end up moving anyway. And then they're like, well, should we rent the property? Oh, honey, no, I'm not going to rent this property. You see how much money we spent? A tenant's just going to ruin it. If that's going to be you, just be real about it. It's okay. If you're going to wait until you settle down, maybe keep renting. Because waiting until you settle down screws you. Waiting until you settle down means you don't get experience along the way. The easiest way to get experience is buying before you're settled down. Build wealth before you're settled down. This house right here, it's not for sale, but you could buy it with 3.5% down. In many parts of the country, you could buy a house for under 10 grand out of pocket. That is a great way to start. Then you could get your hands dirty and you can change out outlets and do carpentry and tile and drywall and painting. And I know some people are like, Kevin, easy for you to say. You're driving around in a suit, in a suit and a Tesla. That's another thing that is frustrating a little bit about YouTube. I will be upfront about that because that is how I started. It's hard for me to say that right now, but I could say it to the extent that I used to look forward to getting off work, doing real estate deals, although you're never really off work when you're doing real estate deals. Grinding and sales, right? Unlimited income potential, but it means you're really always working, which kind of sucks. But one of the beautiful things is I can learn construction. I can learn how to change outlets and do plumbing and do bathrooms and drywall and insulation and spray foam. And I did all of that. And it was so wonderful because it also taught me the value of the dollar when it comes to construction. So now, when somebody comes to this place and does fix-up for me, I don't get screwed by an invoice. I can look at an invoice and go, dude, if I could do it in less time, what took you so long? And then, more often than not, I can ask and go, hey, man, it seems like it took a little long for what went on over there. What's up with that? And more often than not, there's a legitimate reason, and then I can sort of empathize with that. But, sometimes you start wondering, like, am I getting tagged by this contractor over and over and over again? And then you call a different contractor, So that's why building this experience is so important. So again, if you're thinking about getting into real estate, when you settle down, you might be better off staying a tenant because you'll be more likely to over-improve and you'll have less experience. So it's better to get started sooner rather than later. And look, I get it. There are a lot of couples who say, well, Kevin, I don't want to move all the time. I don't want the starter house. the fixer-upper, and then end up, moving once or twice before I get to my final destination for a time being, so to speak. I don't want to move 3 to 4 times. That's fine. There are other ways to do it. The beautiful thing about real estate is once you start with one, you kind of catch the bug, and you're like, okay, I want to do more of these. But again, don't stay a tenant unless you're willing to put in the grind. This morning, I was joking around with a few friends, and we were saying to each other, like, why go through all this effort in real estate? I'm driving to this property to go tell somebody to install a mailbox. Like, why? I could just swipe up on Robinhood and go make some more money with less effort, way less effort, right? Is what it seems like. But the reality is, because of the government programs that exist in our country, because I can control a house with 3.5% down, I can actually make proportionately way more money with real estate when I have little wealth. So if I had let's look at this guy. This is ridiculous. The guy's jackhammering up the driveway, hold on, look at this. This is exactly the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Look at that renovation this guy's doing. All new driveway, the side planters, the walkway, the front planters, got the dual pane windows. Well, now the front's gonna look nice, then you're gonna redo the fence, then you're gonna do the backyard. Oh gosh. And look, I don't mind it. It makes the neighborhood looks neighborhood looks better, and it's good for me. But no, it's so much, exterior hardscaping is so expensive. Woo! Don't get me wrong, I've poured driveways too, but they were on really good deals. Anyway, the point is, if you have under $200,000 of wealth, you can double your wealth, or you could create that first $100,000 to $200,000 of wealth way faster in real estate than you can with stocks. Because with 10%, or 5% down, 10%, whatever, right? With $10,000 to $20,000, you could generate $100,000 worth of wealth relatively easily. But again, if you're not interested in doing the work that's involved in that, then it's not for you. The other reason you can make more money in real estate compared to stocks when you have little is because it takes work. Right? The people who have net worths of $5 million plus, they're not busting their balls doing this basic kind of stuff. Oh, let's pick out carpet for the single family rental. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's not a useful use of time to do that. They'd be better off just throwing their money into like a Vanguard fund at a certain point. Anyway, so that's the next reason, right? If you're in that mentality of, well, I'm just going to wait until I settle down, I don't know if real estate's going to be for you. Now, this isn't to say that you can't start real estate late, but realize the best way to start in real estate, is to start in the trenches. So when you start, the bank just got cash. Let's go get some cash at the bank. Armored truck just left. The best way to really build the wealth in real estate is by starting with that fixer-upper, right? Whether it's units, whether it's a duplex, triplex, fourplex, or whatever. Now, let me go see, what was reason number 5? Hold on a second here. I wrote down a quick this is usually how I make my videos. Okay, yes, number 5. If you are the kind of person, and this is okay too, again, you just got to be aware of it, who does not like keeping an emergency fund, real estate is risky. You should have at least an emergency fund of $200 per month for every property that you own, and at least $5 to $10K in the bank for every unit that you own. If you got, multifamily, that could be a little less. It could be like 3 to 4, maybe $5K per door. But you got a single family, probably $8 to $10K is a reasonable emergency fund, and honestly, that could be a little on the low side. If you're not interested in keeping those kind of emergency funds, real estate, it can bite you, because roof replaces come up, furnace issues come up, and you got to cut the check for those things. So you got to be ready to cut those checks. Now, obviously, you go into the deal doing your inspection and ideally being aware of the stuff that you're walking into. So it's not like you buy a place and it's like, why is the roof leaking? Did you check out the roof? So you got to be willing to spend money on inspections too. But again, if you're not good at saving to that kind of emergency fund money or whatever, don't buy real estate. Because, look, you do have this benefit as a tenant of, look, let's be real. Your landlord's not a concierge, right? They're not going to come change the light bulbs and clean your house for you. But that $400 stove goes out, you pick up the phone and go, yo, house not habitable, stove not working. And guess what shows up within a couple days? With a good manager. Bad manager, you might have to wait a week or two. In which that case, you should move and maybe leave not such a great review. But, you know, you do have that privilege of asking for things that are broken to be fixed. It doesn't mean you're going to get the highest quality stuff, but you don't have to worry so much about that emergency fund. You don't have that pressure of always having to worry about, okay, well, if a panic hits, you know, we got to remember, we got X many doors of real estate, we got to keep X amount in cash just in case stuff hits the fan. And I know some of you know that I'm not the biggest fan of a personal emergency fund. I'm a bigger fan of having like retirement money and stocks and stuff like that as an emergency fund. That honestly is a whole nother video, because I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, because, well, the stocks could go down. Like, seriously, it's a whole nother topic. If I sat down with you for a beer or something like that, or just made a video on it, it would make sense, and you would agree with what I'm saying. All right, let's do one more here, and then I got to go to the bank. Oh, well, they get pissed when I videotape, honestly. Oh, well, I'll just finish this out here really quick. Last time I came to this bank, they're like, oh, you can't be filming in our parking lot. This is private property. Whatever, you guys are losers. I'll just go walk on the sidewalk. Okay, so the last thing that you gotta be careful of if you're thinking about buying real estate is consider if you are going to live in an area long term. Let's say, for example, you're a military vet and you're moving around every 2 years or something like that, and you're on deployment during that time. It's very difficult for you to become an expert in that market. There are some cases where, let's say you go to college for 4 years, you could become an expert in your market, and you could actually buy, put a manager in place and move. But for most people, like traveling nurses, it's very difficult to become an expert in your market. Know exactly where the best deals are, buy, get a manager in place, and then move and do it again. So if you're going to be super temporary and you're super busy while you're super temporary, just rent. That's much better for you. So there you have 6 reasons you should remain a tenant from a real estate broker. And I think these are very legitimate reasons. Let me know if you have other ideas in terms of what other reasons you might choose to continue to be a tenant. You know, maybe you're in a high poverty area, or you're in an area where oh my God, are you kidding me? Wow. That was within inches of my front bumper. That's crazy. Anyway, you know, what other reasons might there be for you to stay a tenant? High poverty, right? Low, you know, population declining. In which case, honestly, in a lot of those cases, you should just move. But I think these are very real reasons. And again, for a dude who's a real estate broker and real estate investor, these are sincere reasons you should not buy. You know, buying is not for everybody. I can't say to every single person, I don't care who you are, I don't care what your circumstances are, you should buy real estate. I like to think that, but the reality is, not everyone should buy. So there you have it. If you like this kind of sort of tutorial style video on real estate, let me know in the comments. Usually these videos absolutely bomb relative to like stimulus check or buy the stock now, or you know, passive income with $0. Like that stuff seems to do a lot better. But I do want to provide you all value on real estate as well. So share this video, give it a like, let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Oh yeah, it's a big one. Good job. What number is that?
10.
10.
10,000.
10,000. Good job, Jack. Oh, you're not even. Oh yeah, there you are. Okay, Max is like. Here you go. Hi, Max. Yeah. Oh, careful, Max. Careful. This is 100 100s.
All 100.
All 100s. Look at that. Every single one. Isn't that crazy?
I have a whole bunch.
Did you want all of it?